Hey guys, you're probably here. This is Highway 127 video. We are going to do things a little different than what you've seen in the past, so stick around. Guys, here we are at Highway 127 yard sale. As you can see, I'm traveling with a group of fine resellers today. This was Friday's sale, so here we are going to, what I call the Porsche sale, and you'll see why later on. This was actually a very interesting yard sale. When we pulled up here, as you can see, Rev, he's always checking out the garage. Kind of runs first thing. For some of you may not know, Rev likes to work with cars, so it's only fitting that he would run right to the garage. And as you can see, Porsche number 1 there. Here we are checking out some other things along the sale. As you can see, Nikki T comes around to make sure and see if Rev missed anything. Now as we continue to go, you see Chris there in the background. He's interested in a little wiffle ball, and here we have Redneck Resale. Colton and Courtney coming out of the tent. Looks like they already got an arm load. That was my mom. If you see here briefly, she traveled with me. My mom and dad were with me on this sale, and here's Chris coming around to talk to me about these wiffle ball bats. For those of you who don't know, if you find old wiffle ball bats, they actually hold some extreme value. So be on the lookout if you see the ones that say actual wiffle and they're older. Chris was telling me about a bat that sold for around $80. So see Rev out there by Porsche number 2. Him and JC talking a little sports. Of course, all of us guys, when we get together, one of the things we talk about is sports, and we were talking about specifically about a game I used to play with some youth group kids called Fat Ball, where you hit an actual volleyball with a baseball bat, and you play it like kickball, where you can actually throw the ball at people to get them out. So I was telling them exactly where you needed to hit the ball. You know, sports expert, most of us are. And Chris is still hanging out there with the wiffle ball bat. Nikki T, at first I thought she was shoplifting. She's just putting her phone back in her bag. Chris actually did end up picking up these bats. I think they end up being worth something pretty good. I don't know exact comps. I'm sure if you go watch Chris over at OldSchoolPicker, you'll be able to find out what he did with those bats. There's my dad hanging out over there, and my mom, and my niece Adeline, and my wife briefly in the background. Colton and Courtney now took their turn in the garage. They're looking for clothes. Here I find a pair of Vans, and here shortly the Vans will be featured in our video. Still looking. I felt like I've circled this sale about 5 or 6 times, but you never know. You might find something you overlook. A dog bed there for sale. Poor dog. Guess he'll be sleeping on the floor here on in. I didn't pick it up, but maybe somebody will. And now it's time for me to find something. Oh, there we go. The Vans. They're here. Time for their close-up. Vans, $2. Not a bad deal. We'll put them things in the trunk and move on to the next sale. This sale, these were the smartest kids at any yard sale. They actually had a platter of, and that's what I'm doing here, kind of off camera, because I didn't want to be seen eating. No, I'm just messing. These brownies they had at this sale, they actually put on a little sampler platter, brought them out to us as we walked up the sale, and you'll see later on it pays off. Chris got a head start on us on this one. He's already up there looking at the license plates. They wanted like $10 to $15 a piece, had a whole box of them. My niece just went on off in the grass. But this lady had took a lot of older items and made them into things. She was a crafter for sure. She took some mason jars there and made little planters, license plates, and dug them up. Made pillow sacks out of some old rice bags, bean bags, and then those tobacco hanger sticks. She made different like stars. Colton getting in on the action with the filming. I'm sure if you guys have watched these other guys' videos, you'll see what's being said at some of these sales. For me, we're just having to ad-lib this thing. So stick around where you can see what happened. We all have a little different perspective on what was going on. My mom actually picked up a wreath here, and Harry Humstone, if you're watching, that's those insulators. This lady had some nice ones. That gas can I end up picking up at the end of this sale. Let's see what my wife's looking at over here. I don't think she ended up getting anything at this sale either. A lot of kids' clothes and crafting items. Nothing super great. That gas can was real good shape. I think this part right here is kind of funny to me. There's Colton and Courtney checking something out. Watch this little kid. First he comes by, he's kind of checking me out. And then what's he gonna do? He's gonna, what? Is that redneck resale there? He's gonna ask how much this thing is. And watch the kid, he comes by and checks him out once. Not once, guys. Stops. Goes by and looks again. He's like, man, how often do you see a celebrity like Redneck Resale at a yard sale? So maybe that's what the kid's thinking, or maybe he's saying, man, I don't know about those guys. They talk a little different than I do. Not much, though, if you're in Tennessee. Here, Chris, Old School Picker, he is talking about, we were talking about those insulators, actually, about how many they find. And as you can see, the brownies paid off. The brownie sampler platter paid off. I think every one of us ended up with some brownies when we left this place, and that's what we're over here doing. Some of these guys drank the lemonade. I kind of stay away from yard sale lemonade, but I will get some brownies. I don't mind those. And those were actually brownie bites. These kids probably made more money at this yard sale than this lady did, because they did that. I go on and get this gas can. I think I ended up paying $10 for it, but it was in really good shape. So here we're at another sale, and this sale, man, is one of those that's kind of off the beaten path. And here we are, just kind of hanging out looking. They had a whole little, they emptied a house of cabinetry. And then, man, I look up and the whole herd is coming in. Man, resellers in the wild, and this is what they do at a yard sale, is they travel in packs at this 127, or at least we did. And basically when we come and show up, people are kind of overwhelmed by the amount of people that come, and most of the time we find decent stuff. The 127 was a little different. Some sales were priced a little higher. This sale in particular was not priced high. Actually, this was probably one of my better finds yard sale wise. So as we are looking around, and they had a mixture of older stuff and just some oddball things. That rocking chair was really nice. At this point, I did not have my trailer to come back. If that phone was in better shape, I would have picked that up for sure. These books, I put them back initially, but I think my dad ended up picking them up and putting them back in my box. So it's hard to see what all is in that box, but there was a bunch of just kind of random older things. Like I said, I set that thing back down. And then JC brings me a gift. Actually, he showed it to his dad, and he was like, I don't really know what that is. Rule number 1, always look it up. That's what I want to do. If you're not quite sure, time to look it up. So JC actually helped me out on this one, and Rev did as well. I tried to offer this thing back to those guys because they had picked it up first, and then he brought it to me to see if I knew what it was. And I looked it up. It was actually pretty good. I think around 40 bucks is what it'll end up selling between the two of them. It's kind of like old computer software thing for robotics. So I don't know. Hopefully it'll sell pretty good. There's haven't got it listed yet, to be honest. Still trying to work through the 127 and my shed. We'll comp her out and see what happens. Use the wheelbarrow desk. Go to Rev's channel, you can check out the whole conversation here because he actually has the volume. Those guys are like, man, I know in the back of their mind they might be saying, oh, I missed that. He said, nah, it's yours. Should have kept it. So those guys, I think I bought the most at this sale. We're gonna get down to it. But I think I ended up picking up quite a bit of stuff here. All kinds of little old new in the box stuff. I actually like that kind of stuff myself. For those of you that are newer resellers, always look up the old stock, meaning the older items that are new in the box. You'll be surprised what some of those things are worth. And for me, this sale had a few of those items that aren't like home runs by any means, but they were items that are bread and butter items that you just need to have in your store. Well, depending on your business model, I like to have these kind of items in my store because they're easier to list, and also if they're new old stock, most of the time you don't get any returns or anything on them. Either someone's collecting those items or they know what it is. They used it in the past and they want to continue to use it. So like items like this, old Scotch tape, there's things like that that I would pick up that some people may go past. There's, if you see, I picked up a pack of razors here. Guys, razors in the package are good money. If you get them at Yardsale and they've never been used. My wife and my dad's picked up those books in there. Gina, there was something in there. See this box underneath the table? That is an address, ink stamper, and metal plates. That actually has a little bit of value. They just tell me exactly how to use it. It's stamp the address on these metal plates. She said some of the crafters use it. That little box probably weighs 5 pounds. Just the one tiny little box that I got. So it's interesting to see that. See this box that I've piled up? Got this yard sale 101, always bundled. Always bundled. So you're going to see my dad's going to put the They had some sugar tops for restaurants, like the little flap shakers. And then I think the other one is Parmesan. So what you're going to see is you're going to see me ask how much would you do for all this. Guys, if you are new to yard selling for resale, man, never go away with a single item. Always look and see if there's anything else you can add to it. Usually it helps the price. As you can see, I went back and added some more even after we were talking. So I ended up getting this whole box for $15. So, man, you can't go wrong like that. $15, I'll make way more than that for sure on this sale. And here we go. All right, so here's the whole crew. We're getting out. We're going up to this next sale. Man, what a great group of guys to hang out with. So fortunate to be a part of this event with these guys. Guys that I've watched for a while on YouTube and had conversation with both on and off YouTube. And it was great to meet and hang out with Rev and Nikki T and Colton and Courtney and Chris, OldSchoolPicker. Man, Chris showed us around this whole place. kind of kept us straight for the most part. That's not getting lost. We did pretty good traveling in the pack that day. Coming up on this sale, we kind of overwhelmed these people. They weren't expecting to get this many people at one time. And they had some neat stuff. He was priced a little higher than what some places were. I ended up picking up a couple things. There's a Coke sign behind those bottles right there that I ended up picking up. And a Houston Oilers cup. So you'll see that at the end of part 2 when I have the haul video, all the things that I picked up. These guys, though, they had some cool stuff. Of course, once again, where you see Rev in the garage getting the private show. If you've watched these guys' video, you see what happens with this pickup. You can hear all the audio on their channels. Both Rev and Colton have this on their channel. I think Chris does too. This transaction, I think he got the Redline Hot Wheels at this sale. And if you're a part of the Easter egg hunt, that's where it's at. So I was going back just looking, taking one final look, I guess, at their grass. I don't know. But they had some cool stuff. Some old glasses and whatnot. I think we're actually having a conversation about these. It's one of those little boxes that has the different thing on it. This guy, he's continuing to put stuff out. It's funny, this guy actually told us to come back when we were told Rev to come back when he's by himself. So I think we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. Chris checking out some stuff on the table as well. Man, we ended up being here for a little bit of time, for sure. He had a lot more stuff in the garage. That's where these guys were headed back to. Trying to get it and see what else he has. I think they ended up getting a Care Bear and stuff in there as well. So yeah, we were talking about Houston Oilers. Like, I know who that is. Ended up paying her for the Houston Oilers cup. Now we're off to the next sale. This one's kind of funny. These guys, as you can see, they made it up long before I did. Rev and Nikki T were already headed up. And then there's Chris. These guys checking this thing out. Some sales are better than others for sure. And this was one of those others, I do believe. Wait till you see what happens with the what these guys have and what they're asking for it. As you can see, Rev and Nikki T up at the table there, and these guys are talking to this person about. Rev was telling me about these Star Wars figures that she has on the table. Now, I'm not a Jimmy. I don't know everything about toys, but I know a little bit. Chris came to check them out as well. I'm going to show you these things. This girl, she can't be bothered to look up from her book, hardly. She has a set of Star Wars figures here. And they say they're original, like the original set. These things were clean as can be. But the only problem was, Rev acts, it says make an offer right there on the table. I don't know if you can see it on mine. He offered her $40 and she laughed and said, these are highly collectible. They're worth $500. So I'm looking at them. They're not original. I've had some of these same figures. They are basically like repops or cheaper made figures. They don't have any markings on them whatsoever. They don't have Kenner like I've had some of the original Kenner. Now we go from the suburbs to the back country. This guy had some pretty neat stuff, but a little overpriced, and some of it was junk, to be honest. You hear the guys revving the trucks coming on by. But we'll try to find something.
He's pointing behind me.
Took a look at that lunchbox there. Weren't super old. Set it back down. Colton's over here looking at him and Rev found a mousetrap. Saw the mower out there, but Rev points out it's got a little flaw.
There, you can ride her to the house. Got my seat
I think this is nearing the end of our day. I think right after this we went to lunch, but we've been going since 7. I think it was around 1 o'clock. Guys, I'll be dropping another video soon with part 2. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I did appreciate hanging out with these guys. I'm going to drop their links below if you're not subscribed to any of the people that were in this video. And we're coming out with the next video. It'll be coming soon.